Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Sammy. If you've been anywhere near the POE2's subreddit or Discord lately, you've seen 10 different confirmed 1.0 timelines. Everyone's arguing about what the economy reset actually means, some creating thumbnails just making up release dates out of thin air. So this isn't going to be another one of those videos. This is a planning video. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly what GGG has actually locked in, what's a smart guess based on how they operate, and exactly what to do with your time between now and 1.0. This isn't a build guide. This isn't a farming route. You're not going to walk away with a strat. You're going to walk away knowing what to do with your time and plan accordingly. Let's get to it. All right, let's start with what's actually locked in, because there's way less noise here than you think once you strip away all the guessing. 4 things we know and can cite straight from Jonathan Rogers or an official GGG source. No guessing here. 1. 0.5 is the last major patch before 1.0. Rogers said in an interview with FRVR back in May when he was interviewed by Lewis White, and I quote here, "The next update we do will actually be 1.0. We don't have a date for you, but it will be a little bit after ExileCon, which is in November." End of quote. Links are in the description just in case you missed that interview. 2. ExileCon 2026 is slated for November 7th and November 8th in Auckland, New Zealand. Tickets have already been sold and they're already up. GGG's own words, 1.0 drops after that. 3. And this one's been a mess of speculation in the community. Nobody's really been clear on the what, how, or when of this economy reset thing. So straight from the official Path of Exile video that dropped with the 0.54 patch, Rogers said at the end of that video, word for word, "This will also be our last major patch for a little while." He's referring to 0.54 before 0.55, which will be alongside a 1-month event with a new economy. End of quote. Then there's the Ziggy D Q&A for May 7th. That's when the actual reveal for 0.5 happened, where Grinding Gear Games said this, and I'm quoting it exactly. "Hopefully, if we do a couple of cool Event League economy resets between here and full release, we'll do some substantial passive tree updates as well at the same time. A couple, not one. So we're not looking at a single event here. We're looking at least 2 economy resets between now and 1.0. Now, is it a wipe? No. But here's the part that actually matters for planning your time. Quick refresher on how leagues work in this game, because it matters for what I'm about to say. Standard is the permanent mode. Your stuff lives there forever. Everything else, these 1-month events included, is a temporary league, meaning everyone starts fresh and whatever you've got when it ends just gets folded back into the standard league. On top of that, you pick your difficulty. Softcore is the default. You die, you just respawn, no real punishment. Hardcore, 1 life. If you die, you get demoted. More on that in a second. Then there's solo self-found, aka SSF, which just turns off trading and the ability to group up and party play. You're finding and crafting everything yourself. You can stack those two. Hardcore SSF is exactly what it sounds like. 1 life and no help from anyone. So here's what that means for these events specifically. Your current character right now in the ruins of Aldor does not carry into either one of these 1-month events. If you want in on Event 1's fresh economy, you've got to roll a brand new character the moment it launches in whatever mode you want. Softcore, hardcore, SSF, doesn't matter. Same deal for Event 2, another new character. And if you go hardcore for one of these and you die mid-event, you're not getting bumped all the way to standard. You just drop into the softcore version of that same event league. Gear intact, you just lose hardcore status for that character. Then once the event's done, everybody ends up in standard, whether you survived the whole thing or got knocked down to softcore halfway through. All right, so now that the how is out of the way, let's get into the why, because this is where it stops being just news and actually starts mattering for you. So why multiple resets instead of just waiting for 1.0 and doing one big thing? Again, straight from the same Q&A with Ziggy D, GGG explained exactly why. And I quote, "We still don't want to do mid-league nerfs. And so to be able to do all the balance changes we want to do, you still need to have an economy reset." Basically, they got a pile of balance changes they want to make. Leech is going to get reworked. The fences are getting buffed. And they don't want to drop that on us mid-league because that feels bad for everyone who's already invested. So instead, they do in-between events, fresh economy, fresh balance. There's no rug pull. And it's not just a currency wipe with nothing to show for it either. Same Q&A with Ziggy D. They said these interim events will be, quote, remixes of existing content, but also adding stuff where stuff's missing, and specifically called out needing to add a lot more uniques, especially mid-game ones. Now, that's just what they said so far. No guarantee that that's the full picture. Knowing GGG, there could be surprises along the way too. Stuff they haven't even hinted at us yet. And speaking of surprises, the community's been begging for one thing specifically. There's a lot of things that the community's begging for, but this one stands out in my humble opinion: swords. That's tied to the duelist class, the one class everybody wants back, but I would argue more so the swords aspect of it. GGG themselves even joked about this in the same Q&A with Ziggy D. They said, and I'm quoting, "Probably the mistake we made was having a sword in the teaser," basically admitting they accidentally hyped people up for something that was never actually coming in 05. Now, is a duelist going to show up in one of these interim events? Personally, I don't think so. If GGG's sitting on a new class, that's exactly the kind of reveal you save for the biggest stage possible. ExileCon, in front of the whole community live. That's a moment, not something you just drop mid-patch. So don't hold your breath for an event in event 1 or 2. But I wouldn't rule it out as the big ExileCon surprise later this year, but only time will tell. But at a minimum, based on what they've actually told us, jumping into one of these 1-month events isn't just a reset button. There's real new stuff that's going to be planned and attached to these events. Okay, so that's the what and the why, both locked in. Now for the part you've probably been waiting for this whole video. This is the fun part. Big disclaimer up front. None of this is confirmed by GGG. This is me doing the math based on patterns, same way I've done these league predictions before. Take it as my educated guess, not a leak. So here's what we know for sure. 054 launched June 24. Jonathan called it the last major patch for a little while before 055 shows up. Now, I don't have a clean data point telling me exactly how long a little while means. GGG's typical hotfix cadence is way faster than that, usually a week or two between the smaller number patches. So this is clearly meant to be a longer gap than that. My honest best guess, and I want to be upfront, that this part's softer than the rest of my math is 055 lands somewhere in late July to mid-August. That 1 month event runs through, let's say, late August to mid-September. Now, if a couple means 2 events, which is the most natural read of that word, there's still a gap to fill between that and ExileCon on November 7th and 8th. So my guess is the second event lands somewhere between September through late October, wrapping right around when ExileCon kicks off. Now here's where it actually gets interesting, because I've got 2 completely different ways of getting to a 1.0 date, and they land in the same spot. Method 1, straight math, though I want to be upfront about where this number comes from. 05's stated length, 28 weeks, isn't something Rogers said in an interview. It's pulled from POE2 DB, a community database that tracks this stuff straight from the game's own files. So it's not a GG quote, but it's real data, not a guess. Starting from 05's actual May 29 launch, a Friday, same as every league drop always is, running 28 weeks from there puts you at December 11th, 2026. Also a Friday. My method 2 calculation looked at GGG's own history. POE2 Early Access itself launched on December 6th, 2024. This studio tends to follow up big reveal moments with the launch about 3 to 5 weeks later. Apply that to ExileCon on November 7th and 8th, and you land somewhere early to mid-December. 2 completely different methods and calculations, one based on pure math, one based on GGG's own habits, and they both point at the exact same window, early to mid-December 2026, with my best single guess landing right on December 11th. That's my call, not a leak, not confirmed, just 2 independent roads landing in the same place, which is about as strong as a guess gets. Now, I want to hear yours. Forget my math for a second. What's your gut telling you? Drop your actual guess for the 1.0 release date in the comments, exact date if you're feeling brave. And let's see how close any of us actually gets. All right, so here's the part that actually matters if you got a life outside of this game. Not whether you should be playing, you're already here. You already know that. This is about how to actually plan the next 5 months around what's coming. If you're casual and only get a few hours a week, honestly, I wouldn't sweat rolling a brand new character for 055 event unless the theme really grabs you. Remember, your current Return of the Ancients character doesn't carry into it either way, so you'd be starting fresh regardless of whether you jump in. Might be easier to just keep playing what you've already got and let it ride until we know more. If you like event leagues and want something short and punchy to sink your teeth in, 055 landing sometime late July into August is your rough window. Just remember, that's my best guess, not a confirmed date. So keep half an eye on official news closer to the time before you clear your schedule for it. Heck, I don't want to be blamed for you taking PTO. If you're the type who wants to save your energy for 1.0 itself, that's a total reasonable call too. Based on my math, you're looking at maybe 5, give or take, months of interim content between now and launch. You could coast on your current characters, roll a fresh one for an event if there's a good theme, and then go all in once 1.0 actually drop with the full campaign plus. Either way, now you actually know what the shape of the next 5 months looks like instead of just doom scrolling Reddit for a release date that doesn't exist yet. And I'm not just guessing at these player types either. Going back through the comments on my last couple of videos, you guys are living every single one of these situations right now. Some of you are 4 weeks deep into SSF, still grinding for that one specific item. Atlas barely over half done. Some of you already quit, either because it felt too easy to stay interesting or because the time cost stopped being worth it. Some of you are stuck around Act 3 because That's genuinely all the time you've got with some leagues. And some of you are weeks in and already sitting on hundreds of divine because you picked the one strategy and stuck with it. There's no one right way to be playing this game right now, and that's the beauty of POE2. And honestly, that's kind of the point of this whole section. All right, that's everything, everyone. Let's bring it all home. So to wrap it all up, confirmed, 05's the latest major patch. ExileCons, November 7th and 8th. At least 2 economy reset events are coming before 1.0. My predictions, not confirmed. 055, late July into August. A second event running through the fall. And 1.0 itself landing early to mid-December. My best single guess being December 11th. This is the kind of stuff I want to keep doing on this channel. I don't want this channel to be another build guide video, not another 100 div an hour strat video. There's a million of those already being done amazingly by other creators. I want you walking away actually understanding the game and knowing how to plan around it. Whatever situation you're actually in, whether that's 4 weeks deep into SSF, stuck in Act 3, or already 300 divines in. If that's useful to you, let me know and tell me in the comments. Are you playing through the gap or saving yourself for 1.0? And honestly, I want to thank each and every one of you that take time out of your day to put an effort and add a comment into all my videos. This whole video exists because you guys keep handing me ideas worth chasing down. So if there's something else going on in POE2 you want me to actually dig into, drop it in the comments section. I read every single one of them, and I'm always down to go chase whatever you guys are actually interested in and curious about. At the end of the day, this is one of the core reasons why this channel exists. All right, everybody, that's it for today. If you're new here, hit the subscription button. Come catch me live on YouTube and Twitch every evening. All the links are in the description. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope to see you next time. Take care. The opinions expressed in this video are mine and solely mine. Healthy debate is always encouraged. Hate is never welcomed. So get over it.